All right, well, it's time to answer that age-old question, what is Dungeons and Dragons? Hi, it's Mr. E63 here. I've got my cup of healing tea ready, and I'm ready to answer this question. What is Dungeons and Dragons? It is an excellent question. It's been asked for a long time. If you're a parent who's seeing some children who's starting to play and you're worried about what they're getting into, or maybe you've been invited to a party or something, you have no idea what you're getting yourself into, or maybe you're beginning to play for the first time. All of these things might lead you to be asking the question, what is Dungeons and Dragons? What am I getting myself into? First of all, have no fear. The Dungeons and Dragons playing table is a safe space. You should be able to say anything here, do anything here, not be judged, and you should be able to have a happy time, and it should ought to be fun. While a role-playing game, by definition, role-playing isn't something everybody looks forward to. It's one of those things they bring up in corporate meetings. Oh, we're going to role-play today. Or in school, we're going to role-play this out. Not everybody is into role-playing. If you're not an actor, or you have no interest in the stage, you might not be interested in role-playing. But role-playing isn't what's required. I like a different definition for the game. Let's call it collaborative storytelling. Several people getting together in a room or online and telling stories. It is a collaborative story that is interesting to listen to, but it is also interesting to be immersed in. You've always wanted to be immersed in a story. Dungeons and Dragons is the place to do it, because while the story is being told, you're living it at the same time. That said, let's say a little bit more about the experience itself. Usually it's played around a table, usually with a few books and pieces of paper scattered about, some dice, perhaps some candles for ambiance, or it may be an online experience where you're around something called a virtual tabletop and playing over Zoom or something like that, or even the virtual tabletop's built-in sound and software. You may have a table full of snacks or food or other treats. You'll have some paper and pencils and a baffling array of peculiar shaped dice. Around this table you will tell your story. The setting, the environment, many of the people that you'll meet in this story will be presented to you by a character called the Dungeon Master. Dungeon Master is not a master at all. Dungeon Master is simply a referee to help explain the rules and interpret their interpretations, which are not always that easy and straightforward. But also the Dungeon Master's job is to provide you with an environment in which you can experience things you would not normally be able to experience. All of these things are possible around the storytelling table. And at the end, you'll have a tale that you'll never forget with people that you've spent a great deal of good times with. And that, in a nutshell, is Dungeons and Dragons. Of course, there's some jargon that's thrown around in Dungeons and Dragons tables, things like hit points and hit dice, armor class, things like this. You don't need to know them. Anyone around the table will tell you what they mean, point to the number on the piece of paper that you need to know about, and tell you what to do next. Nobody is going to make fun of you, and everyone just wants to help you have a good time. The specifics of how to play the game and how to behave around the table, I'll get into in another video. This is just a primer, and I hope I've whet your appetite for something fun and exciting. It has been both an honor and a pleasure to talk to you today about Dungeons and Dragons. I hope you're interested in coming out and joining us and having a good deal of fun in your imagination with the rest of us. That's it for D&D with Mr. E today. Have a good day and see you next time.